Hey there, gang. What I've got for you guys here today is a bonus match using the very same build from this week's Clown Community Lab. I'd initially thought about including this match for yesterday's video, given that one of the survivors brought an RPD map offering, and I thought if there was any reason to see the full value of this build, perhaps this would be the case. After all, RPD is not a very good map for Clown. It has terrible line of sight and random hallway breaks that aren't very consistent enough for Clown to reasonably use his power. If the 3-gen gets broken, he doesn't have the mobility or the macro to reasonably defend the remaining generators. And as a whole, it just makes the main counter to Clown, right, pre-running, all that more effective when he's played conventionally and with a terror radius. But removing our terror radius, that, however, I figured might have the potential to change things, because you can't really pre-run as effectively against Clown if you don't know where he's coming from. You might accidentally run into him, and that is probably the one main thing this build has going for us. However, the reason why I chose not to include this match with the video is because there were some events which took place near the end of the game, and I thought it would be better to thus isolate this match and kind of talk with it about you guys and what happened. To kind of give you a little bit of an early spoiler, it is what I would like to call using toxicity for a gameplay advantage. Things like teabagging and whatnot to kind of tilt the other side or make them feel bad so they play worse. I'll let y'all kind of see what happened. It wasn't really too severe or anything, but I did kind of feel like in addition to the gameplay, it would kind of warrant a little bit of a discussion. Alrighty, gang, so these survivors actually brought an RPD offering. Normally, I did not play these RPD offerings out, I dodged them. However, due to this build, I thought maybe we give it a try. Maybe I can actually convert something here. Is she cheating? No, she dramaturgied. You are actually wild! Thankfully we get that. I'm just gonna leave. I was about to say, what the fuck? Yeah, no, she clearly dramaturgied. I was about to say, there is no way without any form of speed boost she would have made that, and I almost forgot dramaturgy exists. Holy shit, dude, the scratch marks in this game are so bad. Yeah, so here's the problem still with playing RPD, is that it's still RPD. It doesn't matter if you have no terror radius if it still takes you 14 minutes to get your first down and you lose 18 generators in your first chase. Dude, you're actually fucking kidding me. And she's got another pallet right up here. This is actually fucking hilarious. The map is... She doesn't vault it. Interesting. Thankfully, a lot of times survivors will just give you these free early downs. There's just no reason not to take that one pallet, I feel like. You know what I mean? We do have our yellow equipped here, even though we do have the VHS. Should be losing one of these two main generators by the time I get this hook off, though. She's also non-obsession, so we weren't able to get any furtive chase there. I will go ahead and kick this one specifically. Puts the terror radius closer to the survivors up there. That works for me. I think I'm just gonna kick it. I'm just gonna kick it now. That's fine with me. We get the pallet kicked regardless. Rotate back. 1, 2, 3. Did I see someone in lobby? No. He doesn't have any pallet here. I get the tag. Might commit to this actually. Let's see, it's balance. Balance would be the, yeah. Rotate back. This is West Wing, I think. Right? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Oh no, it's not. That's one. I might actually slug here. Y'all see how bad scratch marks are, man? Holy shit, dude. Yeah, well, that works. Thankfully, no wiggle. You're actually kidding me with these scratch marks, man. They said they made them better, dude, but I swear, they don't feel very good. We do have a lot of injuries. Maybe we can turn something around there. Maybe we can get a snowball going. The problem is still no furtive chase value, because the thing is, you don't really, like... This could actually work out for us a bit here. They got that gen done. Ooh, hold on. He is Obsession. He actually does drop it smart. He's very patient. Not bad, my guy. He's actually not bad, very patient. Now we get our first furtive chase of the match. Let's see. We know they were over here. Actually gonna try taking a certain style of pathing. Remember, they should still be, even if they cleanse that, we still had furtive chase, so... She would that hard, man. Fucking swear, dude. Thankfully, she is still slowed, but... My baubles take 18 years. You are actually wild, man. What are you doing? She also have that hard? Very interesting decision making. She's also oblivious, so we do have a lot of that hidden right now. We could also have, what's it called? If only there was a way we could reasonably keep them blind within our perk slots. Is that a failed skill check, I feel like? This is east, actually, I think, now that I realize. It just has really weird gen spawns. We're gonna drop back down. Should have gone the other way. I don't know why I thought. Well, that works. Actually, I guess I second-guessed myself. That was the right decision. Yeah, they just don't know where we're at. Alright, we'll take it. That gen's fully regressed. Wait, did I see a drop pallet over here too, or am I crazy? If so, we kick that. No, never mind. No gen progress over here. So what, do they like drop down there? Hide our red sand as we go through the doorway. I swear I just heard someone on a totem. No? Okay. Definitely went to go reset then. It was my footsteps I thought I heard. Remember, she is the Obsession, so this is a very good chase to take. Thought so. Did not want my bottle to go there. Dead hard? No. I was about to say, dude, it's so crazy that I either have to eat a dead hard there because I have no bottles or potentially risk something else. I really should be reloading here, but I need this hook in ASAP. I don't think anyone here is alive, so I'm not going to worry about kicking that pallet. But yeah, I need to do something here about this. I'm not going to worry about Soma. I'm going to worry about where I expect survivors to be at this current present moment. He's right over there. That's good to know. And there's no progress. Okay. So yeah, even though I didn't have any bottles, it's not like I would have made any plays here anyways, right? So, in my opinion, at least covering the most ground. Okay, so we know where everyone is, basically. She is oblivious. She may actually look to drop down here soon. That or she's going to look to cross. I think. Let's see. Is there a way I can get maybe down here to ambush Gabe? It might have to be another option I take. Not a fan of this map. Okay, there we go. Ambush successful. Maybe we can commit to this chase here. You've got to be fucking kidding me, man. And my bottle does not go where I want it to go. Hide red snake. There's no way that was somehow a fast fault, but that I also don't hit. Whatever, man. Fucking joke of a video game. He's the one who brought it, isn't he? Yeah, I just remembered. He's the one who fucking brought it. Oh, she's injured, huh? I'll go ahead and just take that. She's actually Obsession now that I think about it. Thank you. Is she on death hook? I can't remember. Soma's not. I don't think the other person is either. They might just all now be on death hook. We do need undetectable here. Yeah, they're all on death hook, I think. No, 1, 2. I think the only person who isn't is Soma. That or maybe I'm wrong and none of them are. They're two-manning this shit. Oh, wow. Now, I think one of the win conditions here is I identify where Soma is. If he's on this gen, then I think we win here if they don't have Unbreakable. He's left. T99 the gen. He might be looking to cross, but the thing is, I don't think I can actually deny that. In fact, I think I'll just pick her up. She might be looking to crawl away for that reason. Yeah, let me just go ahead and do this. So he was on that gen. Interesting. Just look over here, and I don't think that he actually has time. Can I interrupt this? Oh, get fucking rolled! Get fucking rolled! Get fucking rolled! How are those bags, buddy? 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 Come on, tell me about them. Tell me about those bags, buddy. Come on, tell me about those bags, buddy. Dipshit, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, get fucking rolled, dipshit. Brought the map offering too, by the way. Woo! So although I went into this match with a game plan in mind from my build, the issue is that it takes a bit of time in order to get that ramp going where you're removing your terror radius. You have to get some hooks in order to apply Hex Plaything. You similarly need to be hooking the Obsession in order to get both the undetectable status effect, that haste for 18 seconds, as well as when the Obsession gets unhooked, transferring that Obsession to a new target and making them oblivious. So until we get that pressure, we're basically at the same position that we would be on Clown if we were running any other build, except we also have to take into account that our build doesn't have any generator perks. So when it comes to any other build, right, if any other build in this instance would be providing us more help in the early game, then we would have been doing better with a different build during that time versus the one that we have. Because where this matters is that, again, we are on RPD. We don't have corrupt intervention. So if I need a little bit of help to get myself going and I don't have that help and I need to basically, through skill difference, make up for that, then I need to take into account that in the same way, if I still lose to, if it takes me a while to get my first hook, I'm going to be losing 2 generators first chase. And even from that, right, even just a couple simple mistakes, you may still, because of that, lose 1 generator. And that was kind of the issue we saw here. Thankfully, we were given a hook rather early. They didn't use the pallets to their full ability. There were still plenty of pallets left that these survivors didn't drop or even consider going to. That is just how vast and ridiculous RPD is, even when they split it in half between 2 different variants. And These survivors played pretty well in chase and in macro. I want to give credit to these survivors themselves as well. They did what they needed to do. Let's look at, for example, Claudette. Claudette, she was our very first chase. Did y'all notice that she never healed pretty much the entire match? Not only were we seldom ever engaged with her, but she didn't even waste the time that we spent taking those injuries to go and give us that pressure by healing. She took those injuries while her teammates were doing generators, doing their objectives, getting the other healing that they needed to do. And then once I was done with her, she just got on generators. And it didn't matter, right? Because those injuries didn't translate into anything quick afterward until the very end of the game when she ended up greeting a down to get one of the last two generators. Her thought in my mind was that she was going to go down after completing the generator. I would go to hook her. Gabe would then go and unhook Fang. Possibly they get a 2-man out, 3-man out, right? They were looking to enter the post-gen phase very, very soon. Right at I downed her near the tail end of the match. It was just that she failed a skill check right at the end that probably gave us our shot. But either way, these survivors played well. This map was very good for them, and the build didn't really help us as much in the way that I had hoped. Did it help us at all? Yeah, there were some points where we were able to get some additional hooks, both onto Yoon Jin and I believe onto Fang, and that kind of gave us that stall that we needed. It did pull the survivors off generators, and specifically when it came to Yoon Jin, getting the hook state so I could take her out of the match and create the 1v3 situation in the late game, that was really good. And that did come as a result of this build, because they ran into us as a result of removing our terror radius. Now, when it comes to some other things, there's another couple parts I wanted to point out. We talked about the Claude, we talked about the build. I also now want to talk about the Gabe. Now, this Gabe played really well. I will say that. He did bring the offering. He did bring a really good build for it. But at the same time, that's not to say as if that his own skill wasn't on display. I've played against plenty of survivors in my time playing Clown, and he was very patient. He knew when to stay at pallets, and he had a very good understanding of Clown's haste and when he should be vaulting. It was only through, I would say, probably some of the latter half of my hours playing against really good players that I probably caught him at some of the times that I did. That being said, I don't really appreciate his behavior. The whole teabagging when he vaulted into that office room, it was to encourage me to commit to chasing him instead of going for his teammates that he knew through the Survivor HUD were working on generators. And this is something that I call using toxicity as a gameplay advantage. Basically, what you're looking to do is you're looking to upset the other side. You're looking to tilt them. You're looking to make them play worse just so that your side does better. And basically, in a nutshell, what you're doing is you're winning by definition at full expense of the other person's fun. It's one thing to give someone an unfun time by running like flashlight builds and pallet stuns like background player and all that. And it's another thing to like run builds where not only can they just not do anything, but you're just making them feel bad about not being able to do anything. There's no intrinsic value from being an asshole besides encouraging the other person to play worse. And that's kind of my point, because I feel like a lot of these very same people, they would not be happy if the killer after every hook or every down would shake their head or would smack them on the hook with the pure express intention of mentally tilting them so when they come off the hook that they play worse. I feel like this type of strategy is just it's so cowardly. It feels like to me it's an express statement that you don't feel confident if the other side is playing on their game that you would be able to beat them. It's almost like it feels very dirty, because like I said, there are ethical ways of upsetting the other side. One might even call ethical toxicity. And yeah, things like tunneling with forced penance, tunneling at all, running duty of care with a med kit in Metal of Man, background player with a flashlight, pallet saves, flashbangs. These are very frustrating things to go against, but the game, quite literally, they're part of it. They're fundamental to the game itself. Teabagging and being a douchebag, that's not, and that's kind of my problem with people who do this and people who did that. And that's kind of why near the end of the match, I reacted the way that I did. Because in my mind, right, this person was trying to upset me, so I felt like shit, so I would play worse. It didn't work. I beat you. So how does that feel, right? How does it feel to be so desperate to take a win from me that you brought a map like this, right? And you're going to try to just rub the sheer imbalance of the map that you brought and everything else in my face. Like, how does it feel to do all of that and come up short? Does it feel like shit? Let me remind you how shitty it must feel, because that's basically what I feel like you were doing to me. And I'll be honest too, I'm not gonna, while I do want to give him credit for how well he played and that he didn't really do a whole lot of teabagging at all, I think that was the only real instance. I'm not going to fully pretend, like, especially since he brought the map offering, that he wouldn't have done it at the exit gates. You know, I feel like a lot of survivors, especially, one of the reasons too, right? Maybe the only reason he only even did it at the office was because he felt secure and safe at the office. A lot of survivors aren't really cocky if they don't feel like they don't have absolute protection, which is very funny in its own right, but that's another conversation, you know? But yeah, that was kind of why I did want to talk about that with you guys here today, because, you know, getting on to play DBD, and it's one thing to be critical of yourself, but when you've got other people that just like make things worse, dude, it's kind of like there are other games you can play with your time. And, you know, that's kind of why, gang, I'm going to be honest. One of the reasons I don't even really come around DBD as much, I've been trying to do everything I can for content for y'all, but this is just kind of like a status update on what's going on with me. DBD is very frustrating to play nowadays. And, you know, if I'm not dealing with clown bugs where my bottles are coming out later, where the clouds aren't dispersing like they need to, as y'all saw in this match, where the yellow bottle at the beginning, you know, the intoxication cloud was sucked into the walls. You know, in between all of that, getting sent to my worst maps, you know, I've got survivors where every single time it feels like they win or they get anything, they just have to make me feel terrible. And it's like, you know, this is the only game I feel like I play where that happens. Like, quite literally, there's a little bit of on Marvel Rivals, I'm not gonna lie, gang. But like, there are other games I can play with my time, and it really fucking sucks because it takes away from what I can do for you guys. But that's kind of where I've kind of been recently. That's kind of why I haven't been around as much. I'm still doing everything I can. I want to get back into DBD, but I'm just kind of letting y'all know. But yeah, I do think that just about wraps everything up that could be said here. I hope y'all enjoyed this bonus match with this build, especially the person who requested it. For those that are wondering, the add-ons were troll. I don't think I ever mentioned that, but, you know, it was still kind of, I did say I'd take whatever y'all gave me. If you're interested in learning how to play Clown better, I have a very detailed Clown guide that'll be sure to link in the description. And I also stream live on Twitch during the weekdays, usually Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I haven't been on much according to that schedule for the reasons that I just got done describing. You know, DBD hasn't been as fun to play, but I am trying, gang. And if you really like this content in these videos, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe, not just for yourself so you know when I post new videos, but also because it really helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. It means more people are able to see my content, and I'm able to do what I can to help talk about the game for more and, you know, teach the game and stuff like that. So on that, I hope y'all really enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Later, gang.